Well, you know, Professor Shinoda, I'm just so pleased to have an opportunity to talk to you today about what's happened here in the last 20 years or so in the world of haptics and your thoughts on kind of what the future holds as well. So I'm going to ask you a few questions here, and I look forward to what you have to say. So let me begin with this. What do you consider to be the three key scientific or engineering breakthroughs in haptics over the past 2 decades?
I think the most important finding of us is that we found a cross modality related to haptics. So the cross modality means cross modality between the vision and haptics and sound and haptics. But more importantly, there are several cross modality within haptics, inside haptics. So the skin sensation and kinesthetic sensation and mechanical stimulation and thermal stimulation. By understanding the cross modality, the essence of the cross modality, we could create a very good vibro-tactile display or wearable tactile display. And for example, the recent very good wearable tactile display using the pinching sensation in each finger, but that can create a very realistic and grasping sensation. So by using the cross modality, we can create a very good haptic experience, only stimulating to the part of the total sensation, only partial stimulation to the part of the total modalities. I think it was a very important finding of our 20 years. So yes, and of course, and the next, from the technological point of view, I think the surface haptics is very prominent achievement. I think the technology had a very beautiful and deep. Uh, it created a very beautiful and deep technological field. And I think in the next 20 years, I think it will be commercialized and it will have obtained a very fruitful commercialized achievement and based in the commercial success. And the third one is I'd like to say about the mid-air haptics, but
Yeah.
I will comment on it in the later question. Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to that. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on that. But that was a lovely, lovely response. I think your focus on the cross modality is a really important idea, especially within haptics. Haptics is itself such a multimodal channel of perception. So that's a very, very thought-provoking response. I thank you. So let me move on to the next question,
Mhm.
and that is which products out there in the world do you feel that haptics has had the most significant impact on?
Actually, I think the actual commercialization of the haptics will occur in the next 20 years. Yes,
Okay.
from that. Okay, and such a premise that for me, I'm Japanese, and the application to the game, application to the entertainment is very impactful to me. So the PlayStation 5 or Nintendo Switch, that has some, it has a big market, big commercial market. And the haptics, the role of the haptics is limited, but
Yeah.
it was important. And of course, the automotive application is important. So now it would in the practice that we are using the haptic feedback and the steering wheel and or vibration from the seats to notify the drivers the risk of the environment or the fatigue of the drivers. I think it's a good example of the commercial product of haptics. Uh, And of course,
Yeah.
and yes, and regarding the popularity, we know that vibration on the smartphone, I think also it is important. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. That's a really nice answer. Yeah, I've also noticed how in recent years the haptic feedback in automobiles, like in the steering wheel that you mentioned, has really become really much more refined and really, valuable. And it's exciting to see that.
Mm.
And certainly in gaming. I mean, there's a very long history there, right? But it's become so sophisticated, and it's a beautiful thing to see. But it's interesting. It teaches us academics sort of how long it takes for haptics to to really have its impact. So you say that the real commercial impact will be in the next 20 years. So I guess that leads beautifully to to
Sure.
the next question, which is what excites you about the future of haptics?
So, and yes, first one is the midware haptics. I'm sure it's promising. So, but actually, I'd like to change the technical term of midware haptics. Yeah, now I'd like to create a new word. So, probably midware haptics makes people to imagine a very weak, a special, airy sensation, very special haptic sensation, but from now, I think I'm sure it can create a real haptic sensation, and more effective and strong and realistic sensation. I'm sure we can create. So I think that it's a very important theme from now. And and actually, more importantly, and the AI application to the AI robot, AI, artificial general intelligence robot.
Yep.
Yeah, so the probably in the factory, unfortunately for us, the robot didn't need haptic sensor, didn't need complex haptic sensors. Only simple force sensing was sufficient. But if
Right.
the robot is controlled by artificial intelligence and it behaved as actual human beings, so
Mhm.
the haptic sensation is definitely necessary. And haptic sensor and haptic sensation by robot is crucial for the success of the next generation robot, I'm sure. Yes, and that is a most important field, I think.
So let me be sure I'm understanding. So what you're really envisioning is that the work in midair haptics really pushes toward like high realism haptics. Is that sort of the idea that really
Yeah.
highly realistic?
Yes, it's one direction. And I think it's possible. And
Yeah.
another direction is that always, everywhere, we can feel the media haptics and with a larger workspace. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, and I'm sure the mental effect, the kind of affective haptics, so-called, would
Hmm.
be more important in the next 20 years. Yes.
Nice. Okay. Wow, that's exciting. And then your point about robots too is one I couldn't agree more with, and I think it's interesting. Like when you think about this conference, World Haptics, we haven't really taken ownership of haptic perception in robots as part of our field, but perhaps, and maybe we should come back to this, but perhaps that's one of the things that we should. So let me ask another question then. So what challenges do you anticipate that our field will face moving forward?
Yes, and actually, sensing is the most important problem for all the themes. So, and haptic sensor for AGI robot is of course important, and
Yep.
motion sensing of human. And if we create a good haptic feedback, we can measure the human motion very precisely with both in time and spatial resolution. And if we can if we improve the sensing, the haptic experience will be surely improved. And actually, yes, and now, yes, that was
Okay, so sensing is a huge challenge. Yeah, I agree. Although it's interesting. knowing your work, I would think you would also believe that actuation is also a huge challenge.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
of
that
course.
true?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Both is important. Both are
Okay.
important, of course. Yeah.
That's fine. Okay. So, over the next decade, what do you believe is most needed for significant developments in this field? Well, you've actually sort of already said, I guess, sensing. We talked about actuation, but what things do you think really will drive the field forward? Is it those things, or is it the applications like the robotics? Like,
Mhm.
what things will really make this field flourish?
Yeah, since basic sensing technology are necessary, and more importantly, the hardware device technology is very important. So,
Mm,
and I think our next challenge would be everywhere haptic display everywhere. We can
yeah.
enjoy haptic sensation everywhere on the everything. And if we can enjoy the surface haptics, not only in the smartphone, we can if we can sense on the usual desk, wall, and yeah, yeah, clothes or like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, uh, I think that is the challenge of us, and the hardware is very important for haptics. Yes.
Okay, all right, exciting. So this next question is maybe a little bit different, but I wonder if you have any suggestions for how we can grow our community
Mhm.
and increase visibility of the work that we do.
Yes, unfortunately, we are not we are not in the mainstream of the total academic society. But I
Right.
think the next, I'm really looking forward to the next 20 years. Actually, haptics is a basic, very
Yeah.
basic sensation of human beings. And I'm
Yeah.
sure, yeah, it will be developed. So, and my simple proposal is that to make World Haptics everywhere, every year, World Haptics yearly,
Ah,
annual conference. So
okay.
that is very effective to motivate young researchers to publish their work. And
Yeah.
of course, it is important to recruit good researcher into this field. So asking general chair is a very good opportunity to recruit a good people. So, but I'm Asian. So if Asian become general chair once, then the next general chair must wait 6 years.
Yes.
Yeah, 6 years too long. Yeah.
It is too long, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. That's such a good point. Yeah. Gosh, that's true. Yeah,
And
I didn't really, yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
uh, basically, I think the rotation system is a very excellent system, Asia, United States, Europe. And yes, I think it's a very good system. But if we make it annual conference, we only wait only 3 years. 3 years
Yeah.
is acceptable, I think.
I It's so interesting you say that. Hong Chen and I hosted the 2015 World Haptics 10 years ago.
Mhm.
But it took 6 years for it to come back to North America. It was going to be in Montreal, but then COVID happened. So it'll be 12 years before there was actually a conference in North America again. So that's too long.
Yeah, yeah,
That's too long, but your point's well taken. Yeah. Of course, there's many challenges in that, but I think that's a very clean and very compelling argument for what we could do. Thank you. So let me ask you now, I guess a final question, and that is, I wonder what advice you would give to newcomers into this field to help their careers grow.
Actually, I can confidently recommend young researchers to enter haptics. I'm sure that development of haptics after AI generation, after age of
Yeah.
beyond age of after AI, after
Mhm.
artificial general intelligence. So the okay in the after AGI robot, the haptics would be the key element, and after AGI and mm, and clarifying the human and clarifying what we feel, what we haptically feel would be the uh, most interesting and yes, very difficult answer, but interesting mystery. And in the process of the research, we can anticipate a good, excellent byproduct. And doing the haptic research would be yield, would create a very fruitful results, I'm sure. So I'd like to recommend to young people to enter this field.
That's a very positive point of view, and but well reasoned. I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's going to be one of the really great intellectual challenges to understand that experience. I've gone through all the questions, but you raised a topic earlier that I would like to come back to. Yeah, you talked about robots and how robots powered by artificial general intelligence will need to have haptics. Um, and that's certainly something that I've also become very interested in. And I wonder how you feel the many things that our community, the haptics community, has learned and worked on over the past 20 or even longer years. How will that help as we think about solving these challenges for robots?
Mm. So, are you asking about the important technological field to or that? No, no.
Yeah, I
Yes.
guess I
Mm.
guess I'm asking how can those of us in haptics help solve the problem of giving robots a sense of haptics as well? Does that make sense? Like
Uh,
maybe giving them a sense of touch.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you asking about why the AGI robot needs haptics? Uh,
I'm sorry, say again.
uh, uh, are you asking why AGI robot need haptics?
No, I think they need it.
Oh,
I
yeah, 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 yeah.
agree they need it.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Mm.
asking how can people like you and me who know a lot about haptics,
Mhm.
how can we contribute? What problem should we help work on? Maybe.
To sorry, to other field to
Yeah.
explain to other field people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm wondering. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I feel the difference between America, United States and Japan. So basically, in Japan, many people understand the importance of haptics
Mhm.
already. So
Yes.
probably yes, the problem in United States is commercial volume is necessary for you, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe true. Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. But I think that, yeah, I'm sure in the next generation, the
Yeah.
haptics will create a huge economical growth. I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's a necessity. Yeah,
Hmm.
because yeah, very simple necessity that the robot needs a haptic sensation to sense the environment and to create a new thing. And
Yeah.
yes, that information is the key. With that haptic sensation, probably robot can't do anything, and the robot can't to
Yeah.
create an
Yeah.
intelligence. Logically, it's I think it's obvious, but yeah, yeah, I
Yes.
understand that yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I'm fighting to start the business in Japan of the midway haptics. Yeah, but yes, it was always a problem that haptics is very difficult to start the business. Probably
Yeah.
100 years ago, everyone, I'm sure everyone is using that. But the starting is very difficult. How to break through, how to go beyond the death valley would be the,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
would be the big challenge of us.
Yeah, I agree. And of course I've been to the Death Valley and I stayed there. Yeah, it's very, very difficult. Very, very challenging problem. Yeah. I think that the robotics applications are exciting because I think maybe in that world we can get across the valley, and really solve commercially challenging or commercially interesting problems. But yeah, it's very difficult. Of course, I tried to commercialize some surface haptics, and it's just so difficult
Yeah,
to
I understand that if
yeah,
it's difficult for everyone, and
yeah,
yes, but I want to
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah,
Of course,
yeah,
yeah, of
go
course,
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, well, I wish you great success in tackling the midair haptics one. These are all very difficult. So, but
So
hopefully,
I'm sure the surface haptics, actually that field is very beautiful. And I
yeah,
couldn't imagine that 20 years ago. That is a very new field created in this 20 years. And
yeah,
the physics is beautiful and haptic experience is very impressive. And actually, the point is the cost, the
yeah,
production cost. If the
yeah,
production cost becomes low, I think
yeah.
everyone use it everywhere. I'm sure.
I hope that day will come. That would be exciting. Yeah. It really would. I mean, it's exciting that we do have, some type of haptics in our phones, and as you said, we have it in many types of gaming systems, more and more in automobiles. But it'd be lovely to see the type of haptics really move far beyond vibrotactile and into new areas. And so hopefully that day will come. That would be an exciting day. Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, me too, me too.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the conversation, for sharing your insights, your vision of the future, your very positive outlook. I'm excited that your advice to young people is to enter this field, and that's a wonderful thing. So, thank you so much. We'll, as I said, we'll integrate this little bit of this video into the discussion that we share at World Haptics, and then hopefully we find other things to do as well.
And thank you again for contacting me, and thank you again for yes, giving me the very good, very interesting interview. So, and I hope the great success of your plan, of your event in the World Haptics. I
Thank you
hope.
so much. We look forward to seeing you quite soon now.
Yeah, see you soon.
Okay. All right. Good night here, or good morning.
You know, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.